So like Y2K was like when the world was going to end because instead of instead of computers rolling over to the year 2000, they were going to roll over to 1900 because way back in like the 60s or 70s when there were these people doing all this like computer shit. It was like computers were fucking big and expensive and like hard to do, so they took these shortcuts, and it's like for the date they were just doing like 2 digits, like 69 or 70 or whatever, and they were like, oh, this is good enough, nobody's gonna give a shit. And but the thing is that all these computers and shit were covering it's like it was like the stock market computers and like the nuclear weapons computers and like the aircraft landing guy tower man computer, whatever. But it's like say you were building a table, but like wood or whatever was expensive. So I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking put 3 legs on this table, and it's gonna stay up good enough. And as long as nobody like puts anything on it, it's not gonna fall over. But it's like, yeah. But whatever like Y2K was, and if there was like an actual threat, they like fixed it, and there were like few to no problems. And if there was no actual threat, then the people like fixing all these like the Fortran computers, it did nothing at all. But anyway, yeah, I mean, my Y2K experience was, well, actually, you have to go back a day because I was over at like my friend's apartment. I mean, technically, it's his dad's apartment. It's like, and I was getting drunk, and we were like listening to music and stuff. I fell asleep, and after drinking too much, and then I woke up and I noticed it was like 1 a.m, and I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking the year 2000, man, it's so fucking cool, and my friend Laura's like, shut the fuck up, god damn it, it's still 1999, and I'm like, oh man, oh god, the world's gonna end. He actually had his Y2K plan. My friend Isaac's dad, I think he drove a cab or something like that. But he got like 2 things of bottled water, like those flats, and he had it on the counter in his apartment. And I don't know if he had anything beyond that, but as long if the world ended, at least he had the drinking water thing settled for a couple days. But so that's what people did. They stocked up on supplies for the apocalypse. But there were a lot of the people who were into that, they weren't just caught up in some panic or something. I'm not sure how big it was. They were stocking up on supplies anyway because they were survivalists. And I mean, still these people now. They're still around, but this was a big thing in the 90s. It's I mean, it was a whole subculture, based. It was with the Patriot thing and the militia thing and the gun thing. And I met one of these people in Kinko's once, and he was making these flyers on how the American flag is, it's not, well, it is a real flag, but it's a different kind of flag because the real American flag has a gold fringe on it. And the one without the gold fringe, the one you see everywhere and they fly everywhere, that is an army post flag, which means that the U.S. is secretly under martial law. The real flag has gold fringe, and I mean it's pretty obvious why they don't make it. I mean, it's like the American flag factory in China, doesn't fucking, well, they'd sew on gold fringe if you paid them to sew on gold fringe, but it's like they just went with the cheaper design, which is the same flag, but that doesn't mean anything. But he was making a lot of flyers, and he was very, very convinced about this, and very passionate. And also the thing was that FEMA, the Federal the federal. I fucking forget what it stands for, but they set up these not death camps after Hurricane Katrina. But the thing was that like their purpose as a federal agency was to set up death camps in time of civil unrest. And I had a thing with like the pictures of the death camps, the FEMA death camps, and hadn't killed anybody yet, but I guess they were thinking ahead. Also, they had pictures of, I think they were either like underwater storage tanks or something like that, or like those like little plastic things you put on like sprinklers, like sprinkler boxes, and that was going to be the coffins they were going to use to bury people that they killed in the FEMA death camps, which is I mean, I guess like every death camp would be different, but I mean that seems like if you're just like committing genocide on like a whole bunch of people, like giving them individual coffins, it's not something they like really do. I mean, you usually just want to take your bulldozer and just push the bodies into a mass grave, or just cremate the bodies, or do something where it's where you get rid of a lot of bodies fast. And having individual coffins doesn't seem like a good way to do your genocide when you're like the evil government. And but yeah, and these people were also on the internet in the 90s, which I really didn't. It's like, okay, yeah, you hook your computers together. Ooh, someday you're gonna log onto your computer in the morning and read the news and stuff. It's like, yeah, whatever, but I don't know. Fucking, it's Y2K. It like didn't happen, and you don't really like see anything about it now. It's like a lot of the TV shows, with the exception of Family Guy, that were like in production about the time, maybe they did like the Y2K episode or something like that. There was like a Family Guy thing from when Family Guy was actually sort of good, and they reference that, and so that's kind of like the weird cultural artifact or something like that. But people have always been convinced that the world was going to end, and people would make plans, or it's just like a fun thing to think about. It's like the whole zombie apocalypse thing today. I mean, it's like we didn't have like web forums for it, but you talk with your friends, what you do in the zombie apocalypse, where you loot, your zombie fighting, your what you would do, but there wasn't a lot of zombie stuff out there. I mean, I think I just saw Dawn of the Dead in high school. It was one of the blue zombies, the 78 version. I saw the fucking the remake of Night of the Living Dead. I didn't like actually see the black and white one until like probably like, actually it was probably like a year later than I saw the first one. I just like fucking rented it back when people would like rent movies and they were on VHS cassette. But yeah, I mean the Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 remake, it was actually like pretty good. They had Candyman in it as the black guy, and he dies in it, but he becomes a zombie because it's not like there wasn't that level of social commentary where you think about it. It's like, hey, I bet these zombie hunters are also going to use the zombie apocalypse as like an excuse to shoot black people. That's they're going to do that. I mean, it's like oh, we're out shooting our zombies. Oh, black people. Whoops. That's what they're going to do, and that's what happened in the first one, but not in the second. Is Tony Todd of Candyman and that movie fame? He died and became a zombie, and so then they shoot him, and it's not so sad. Well, I mean, it's sad because he like died of zombie bites or whatever, but it's yeah, it's a good remake, I guess. But wait, yeah, Return of the Living Dead was like pretty good too. I mean, that had like, people are like, ooh, fast zombies, but it's like, I think that was like the original one with like fast zombies, and you couldn't really like destroy them except with, well, you could destroy them with like nuclear explosions, but then like the zombie dust would like create more zombies, and it was just that had a lot of like really stupid sequels, like Return of the Living Dead 3. That was actually pretty good. It's one of those things where they have like the army in it, and they're all like not only corrupt, but they're also like retarded. And so they're like, it's like, let's breed zombies as weapons, It's just, it's like, they did that in the Alien movies too. It's like, let's breed aliens as weapons. It's like this thing that we cannot control, and will like run amok and destroy us. And I don't know, but yeah, Return of the Living Dead 2. I mean, I guess it was like, well, the first one was like slapstick too, but like slapstick with like nudity and like brain eating and shit and gore. But the second one, like, not so much. They threw like a little kid in it, and they have like the guy in. They had the guys in from the first movie, like the punk kid and like the warehouse guy. But now they're grave robbers, and they're like, wacky, nutty grave robbers and stuff. It's like, if you you had actual grave robbers, they'd probably not be so nutty. They'd probably be they would probably be high on crystal meth, and they would be looking to steal the skulls of dead people to sell to bikers to trade for crystal meth. Which that was an actual thing that happened. There was a thing in the newspaper long ago about that there was undercover cop guy, and he was pretending to be a drug dealer in order to arrest tweakers, and somebody's like, here, I have this skull, give me meth, and he got arrested, and I don't he probably didn't get any meth out of it. It's like, yeah, people probably want to trade weird things for meth, like, human skulls. And if you're a meth dealer, I don't know. I would, if I was a meth dealer, I would probably rather have the cash or something that I could, something that I could use, like a stereo or something like that, or like meth dealer stuff, that you would want to have. Like, I don't know. I don't know what meth dealers want, but I'm sure it's not skulls. Because, as cool as having like an actual human skull would be, that's like more of a decoration or something like that. And, that's not like a good thing to bargain with. It's like actual human skulls. So, oh God. So yeah, that was Y2K, because the date was going to change, and somehow through a comedy of errors and things breaking, everybody was going to die, or civilization was going to collapse, or the power was going to go out, or something, and it was going to cause mass chaos or something. It wasn't like, if like the Russians and the US just, let fly like they thought would happen in the 80s. But it's yeah, it was a serious thing for a while, sort of, I guess. But yeah, Y2K, woo.